Greetings, this is Dr. T. Not feeling too good still. Hopefully I'll be back soon, but I'll tell you what, this has been a mess. Putting this little front end on the video to let you know that we've got a series of videos coming up on factoring trinomials, and you need to take careful notes on these, work the problems, and then apply what you learn in the videos to your problems in the textbook or on a study guide. Good luck with the notes, and if you have any questions, email me or save them until I return to class. Cheers. Okay, after watching this video, you should be able to factor a perfect square trinomial. And this particular PowerPoint was modified from one I borrowed from Henry County, Virginia's Algebra 1 website. An excellent website, by the way, for you to go to find practice problems with immediate feedback. We'll use our chart again just as a review real quickly. If we have two or more terms, we can use the greatest common factor. If we have two terms and it meets certain conditions, we can do a difference of squares. And if it's three terms, then we are factoring a trinomial. And we're going to see several ways to do trinomials over the next couple of days. So let's review initially y plus 2 squared. Okay, we can rewrite that as y plus 2 times y plus 2. We multiply the first terms, we get y squared. The outer terms, we get 2y. The inner terms, we get 2y. And then, of course, the last terms, and we get 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, we're going to combine terms, and when we do, we get y squared plus 4y plus 4. But, do you remember these equations? These were quite useful in working through problems, and we can use them again now as we factor perfect square trinomials. So we have a case here where we can use this y plus 2, and we can put it into the a squared plus 2ab plus b squared format, and in the end what we're going to get is y squared plus 4y plus 4. I'll let you answer that question. It's pretty easy to me. Alright, now we're going to factor x squared plus 6x plus 9. First of all, we have to ask, does it fit into our perfect square trinomial? And of course, then to do that, we have to ask about each term. Is the first term a perfect square? Well, yes, x squared is the perfect square of x. And what about 9? The last term, is it a perfect square? You already know it is. It's the perfect square of 3. And then finally, the middle term, 6x, is the middle term twice the product of AB. Well, A is x and B is 3, and twice that is 6x. So the answer to that question is yes as well. So we can write our answer using the a plus b squared formula and get x plus 3 squared. You can factor it any other way, but look how quick this one was. Alright, now we're going to try another one. Y squared minus 16y plus 64. First thing we have to do is look and see if it's going to fit our perfect square trinomial form. And to do that, we'll ask, is the first term a perfect square? Why don't you go ahead and think about that for a second. Pause the video and see if you can come up with what A will be for this problem. Hopefully you identified A as y. Y squared is the perfect square of y. What about the last term? Pause the video and see if you can come up with the perfect square for 64. Of course, the perfect square for 64 is 8, and I'm sure you got that. Now we have to ask the question about the middle term. Is it twice the product of A and B? Well, A times B is 8y. 2 times that would be 16y, and so the answer to the third question is yes. Since all three are true, we can write the answer out using our shorthand method. Y minus 8 squared. Now you try this one and pause the video, and when you put it back on, I'll be here giving you the correct answer. Hopefully you were able to get answer number 2. If you did not, try it again and then maybe refer back to the notes. And if you still have problems, then see me when I return to school. Now this time we're going to factor 4p squared plus 4p plus 1. We're going to ask the very same questions. Does it fit into the form of our perfect trinomial, our perfect square trinomial? And in order to determine that, we're going to look at the first term. And yes, it is. 4p squared is the perfect square of 2p. In other words, if we multiply 2p times 2p, we get 4p squared. Is the last term a perfect square? Well, duh, 1. Yeah, 1 times 1 is 1. And then finally, is the middle term twice the product of the a and b? Well, a is 2p, b is 1, so we get 2 times 2p times 1, and that equals 4p, so the answer is yes. Since they're all true, we can go ahead and write the answer, 2p plus 1 squared. Now we're going to try this one. This is a handful just because the numbers are large, but honestly it's no more difficult than the one we just worked. So we're going to ask the same questions. What about the perfect square of the first term? Is it a perfect square? I'll give you a moment to think about that, and then after you hit play, I'll give you the answer. Of course, 25x squared is a perfect square. It's the perfect square for 5x. Now we have to look at the last term, 121y squared, and you can pause this while you think it through. And I'm sure you came up with 121y squared being the perfect square of 11y. In other words, 11y times 11y equals 121y squared. Now, is the middle term twice the product of the a and b? I'll give you a minute to work that, pause the video, and when you hit play, we'll go over the answer. Okay, a times b would be 55xy times 2 is going to be 110xy. Alright, since all three of these are true, we can write our answer using the shorthand, and we can come up with 5x minus 11y squared. Now, you give this one a try, pause the video, and when you hit play, I will give you the correct answer. Okay, the correct answer here was number 1. If you did not get number 1, how about looking over your notes, especially the notes from the last couple of slides, and give it another try. And if you still have a problem, see me when I return to class. And why don't you give this one a try as well? Okay, this one has a trick to it. You have to factor out the GCF before you use our little perfect squares trick. And when you do, you get 2 times r plus 3 squared. Well, I hope this has helped you with perfect square trinomials, and that you'll find it easier to work the problems now that you've seen this video. And as always, I look forward to seeing you back in the classroom.